love. He's responsible for the D.O.P.E.Fest. Both of y'all, cut it out.
Pretty chocolate and bald with them white teeth and them muscles. Jesus, I'll listen to whatever you have to say.
Anyway, Brandon Wyatt, she's a freak. Is about, say it again, guys. She's a freak.
It's been a long 2 years. All of you can shut up.
2 years.
God.
Yo, but he got a branding, and we heard he was an attorney. We were like, what?
How dope is that? He is. He is
Yes.
dope.
He did come in thug gear, but he is an attorney.
Right.
He's an attorney. He is a vet.
Yep.
He's a vet. He's a vet. He's an attorney. He is a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We get him they love today.
Shout out. Shout out. I love my husband. I'm just looking. That's
He's
all that is.
smart.
Okay.
He is
He is one of the forces behind D.O.P.E.Fest, which is going on tomorrow over the weekend, right before the great 420 takes place.
Right.
There's D.O.P.E.Fest, and D.O.P.E.Fest is to educate you and enlighten you through music and so on and so forth about legislation, particularly about marijuana legislation.
Right. And incarceration.
And mass incarceration, so on and so forth. So we're going to catch up with Brandon in a minute, man, because I want y'all to listen to this guy. He's the kind of black young leader that everybody says, well, who's our new leader? This dude right here.
Oh, that's so awesome. And I'm going to post a picture on Instagram so you can see.
Oh, Lord. It's coming up on the Joe Clair Morning Show, broadcasting to y'all live from Southeast. Southeast.
I don't know, we gotta say Southeast twice. I thought once you say Southeast, then we go Southeast. So when you say Southeast, we gotta say Southeast one time?
Southeast. Southeast. Exactly.
Oh my God.
Joe Clair Morning Show, live local for you by you on WPGC 95.5.
Now here's Guy.
Joe Clair Morning Show.
Hey, y'all.
It is 8:17. We in the middle of the What the Friday mix.
With so much drama in the LBC.
It's kind of hard being J-O-E.
But I'm sorry. It's gonna be a beautiful day. 79 degrees today. The sun is coming out, and we are here in Southeast.
Southeast.
You were supposed to rap that.
I apologize.
Yes, indeed. Hey, coming up, we're going to talk to Brandon Wyatt, Esquire, from the D.O.P.E.Fest. D.O.P.E.Fest goes down tomorrow here in the DMV, and we want y'all to be part of that. The Joe Clair Morning Show, WPGC 95.5. Southeast. Hey, let's get into it right now. I've been talking about it all morning long. D.O.P.E.Fest goes down tomorrow. We have the man, the myth, the legend behind D.O.P.E.Fest. His name is Brandon Wyatt, Esquire. Yeah, make sure you say that in a minute. Everybody say Esquire. Welcome, brother. Welcome.
Thank you, Joe. Please.
Man, nice to meet you, man. Tell us about Dope and D.O.P.E.Fest.
Well, dope, as you said before, redefining a word, something that's really ravaged our community. Don't oppress people ever. Changing it over from a phrase that's been used to connotate negativity and turn that into positivity. And a message that's been translated through music through time. And so it was really an academic study by a whole bunch of college grads and peers and DJ Big Will to really come together and try to create a movement using music. So we asked the academic question, can we use music, one of the oldest and most respected art forms, to cause a paradigm shift in federal marijuana legislative policy? And I think that answer is unequivocal yes, if we look at musical movements throughout time and what they correlate to. And what a lot of folks don't realize now is that a lot of oppressive laws that exist regarding marijuana and cannabis legislation really reflect the stench that have gone on in society. And DC being one of the first urban areas with minorities, both Latino and African American, to be disenfranchised, one with the war on drugs at the onset, and then now with kind of removing some of the barriers because it's okay to smoke now in Colorado, which did not have traditionally a lot of minorities, in California, which is under the same kind of pretext if we really look at the entirety of the state. And now we're really setting the standard for the nation on what should be done, and Mayor Bowser and the citizens of DC really deserve a hand. And so we want to help educate and help have a good time and bring all the music artists together to really promote a message of not only positivity, not changing the art, but what we've been saying the whole time. I mean, you've been on the radio so long and been on TV for so long, listening to so many young men and women give their art form about the oppressive tools that have been used in society. And so we had to do no more than look at Tupac's changes. So that's why we created the memes and content and special media on our website, D.O.P.E.Fest 2015, and on our Instagram and Twitter, @dope_fest that really reflect that culture and really reflect that attitude and resilient spirit.
I'm looking at some of these memes, and I like that you have, I mean, you got different faces on all these. You got Jay-Z, Tupac, even Willie Nelson. You're right that music will touch people quicker to get the message across. And the message is that we need to stop locking people up over marijuana, right?
Yes.
I saw this fact also that it says, that people, their constitutional rights still apply. They get nervous when they see a cop because if they smoke weed, then now it's like, oh, I'm going to go to jail. What is it with your movement and trying to make people feel a little more comfortable when it comes to being approached by police? Because that's a big deal right now.
Well, one, if you walk the walk, you have to talk the talk. And one of the things that a lot of conservatives and liberals really don't understand is that there is an aspect of social responsibility that each individual has and that society has to each other. So the police have a job, government has a job, and citizens have a job. And one of the jobs that citizens have is know their rights. And most of the time we're slacking on our job. So we need to find mediums and ways to make it easier for folks to understand what their rights are so that when they are approached by a police officer, a young brother, and you do smell like cannabis and they ask to search you at that point to see if you're under the legal limit of 2 ounces on your person, then you can't be fearful of that moment because you opened the door. And that's kind of what Don't Oppress People Ever is about. We remove all the barriers, fight for the law to be changed, but then do the same thing on the other side and subject ourselves to the same penalties and crimes, or cross over into Virginia with it, or cross over into Maryland with it. And you have a serious issue at that point.
All right, so we're talking to Brandon Elliott of D.O.P.E.Fest. Coming up, we're going to ask him exactly what D.O.P.E.Fest is and why you need to know. Joe Clair Morning Show, WPGC 95.5.
WPGC
95.5.
The Joe Clair Morning Show will be right back.
Everybody, if you're just tuning in, we're talking with Brandon Wyatt of D.O.P.E.Fest.
Esquire.
I'm sorry, Brandon Wyatt, Esquire. Yes,
yes.
he is a lawyer, and he is heading up D.O.P.E.Fest to enlighten us, educate us through music and activism and all this other stuff, and it all centers around being dope.
Well, we started off with a class called D.O.P.E.Fest. So we had a class at Busboys and Poets. We had about 150 people come out, and they had a really great time. We put on a legal panel with some of the brightest minds and social activists in the city, and we really want to give a shout out to Dopology and everybody who participated in the Dopology panel. One of the guys there was a guy named David Victorson. David Victorson wrote a book called 37 Tons, meaning that he was caught with 37 tons of marijuana crossing international borders and was arrested. You know how much time he did in prison? 5 years. 5.
Wow.
He's dedicated his entire life after understanding his experience in jail for just those 5 years, realizing that his life should have been taken away forever, but for the fact of him being Caucasian, that it wasn't. And so putting, people in front of those folks who are way doper than I ever would be, 37 tons of marijuana is more than most people could even imagine. So you get the opportunity to be in the room with those kind of people that made the changes in society. In addition to dealing with music artists who aren't changing the fact that they smoke cannabis or that they engage in the culture, but they're just willing to say, hey, we're not going to show you guys how to get in trouble today. We're going to smoke before. We're going to perform not high. We're going to take the time to pull out 2 ounces out of our pocket and say, this is what's legal. This is what you can do. Put it back in your pocket. And if you do that, know the police can ask you about it. If you smell like it, know they can ask you about it. Know the facts. And not changing the art form at all. All we ask is that the music artists understand the facts and then take the time to spit it out to the people. We have some great vendors lined up that are coming out to show people that culture is more there. And also, one of the taglines is there's a lot of business that is in the industry of cannabis. We focus on incarceration, but one of the reasons incarceration is popular is because there's a business industry behind it. And so on both sides, there's a lot of money.
We know your stake on illegal drugs, but what about medical marijuana?
Well, that's part of the fight. There's a reason that there is a D.O.P.E.Fest movement, and it really did start with the medical aspect. On a personal note, I'm a veteran, spent a couple years overseas in hostile combat environment, and I started at 17 years old in the service, and by the time on my 18th birthday, I was jumping out of airplanes in Iraq. And coming from Fayetteville, North Carolina, I seen a lot of, that's where I'm from, I seen a lot of soldiers and veterans, both men and women of all races, who had a lot of mental issues, who came back from overseas, and what our government used to treat them, white pill form things. If you look at TV, you often see one of the side effects is suicide. So how can you treat somebody who's suicidal with something that has a side effect of suicide or that they can overdose on? You're giving
suicidal thoughts,
you're giving somebody something to control their mind that they have already displayed to you that they're having trouble doing that, they can either become addicted to, and if they do that, it'll cause suicide. Cannabis doesn't do that, but cannabis is illegal. And though cannabis treats cancer and various issues at a high percentage rate, it's illegal. So no, we don't support the use of illegal drugs. What we do support is trying to get drugs that shouldn't be illegal changed, so that we can stand behind those and use those items as a testament to our society and our resilience. And working with different programs like such as Ceasefire for Don't Smoke the Brothers and Sisters, and Congress Heights Community Center, we're really cornering around to try to really target with people to get the support to help with a petition that's started by the Drug Policy Alliance. And no one has to do anything more than come out, enjoy music, have a good time, and have fun to give us the support that we need to collectivize, because that's how change happens. So no illegal drugs. So let's stop making drugs that shouldn't be illegal.
Man, you sound like dude from Dallas Buyers Club. He was fighting against pharmaceutical companies and the government who were giving people who, in the early fight against HIV, they were giving them these drugs that were more harmful than stuff that you can just find out in nature that was more helpful.
Right.
But because there was more money in the harmful drugs, they continued to give him those, and he fought for legislation, he fought for education, he did all those kinds of things. It was just in the HIV vein.
I mean, this is not the first time, Joe. I mean, look at Tuskegee. Joe, this scheduling, the medical scheduling is dead serious.
This is Brandon Wyatt, ladies and gentlemen. This is Don't Oppress People Ever. This is dope. They're using music and music's power to educate and elevate our understandings of our rights, the laws, the consequences, and about being socially responsible. I applaud you, brother, for making a movement like this happen. You know what I mean? You came in here, you're a seemingly well-dressed young man. You look healthy. You unfortunately had that Omega Sci-Fi around your neck.
Yeah.
And you know,
to the Qs and the brothers of Omega Sci-Fi.
No, big shout out to the Qs and the brothers of Omega Sci-Fi, all the Alphas, all the Sigmas, and of course the Kappas. Man, I'm glad to see that you have this movement going on. DC, D.O.P.E.Fest. When is D.O.P.E.Fest going on?
Man, we're kicking off at the Blind Wino.
I love the Blind Wino.
The Blind Wino. We're gonna be there on Saturday, starting at 5 o'clock. Everybody come out, have a dope time.
I love that. Everybody come out and have a dope time.
For more information, Twitter, email, website.
Okay, you can contact D.O.P.E.Fest at info@dopefest.com. Also, we would love people to follow us and really just be a part of the movement on our Twitter and Instagram at dope_fest.
Brandon Wyatt and Dope telling you to come out.
Esquire.
I'm sorry. Brandon Wyatt Esquire, ladies and gentlemen. And big shout out to Howard University Law School. Howard Law. I know my father would love to hear that. He's a graduate of Howard Law. There we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Hey, coming up, I have your chance for $1,000 coming up at 9:05 with Joe Clair's cash code. If you know the code, you get a chance to